Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the committee, let me begin by thanking not only yourself, Madam Chair, but each member of this Judiciary Committee for co-sponsoring this very important piece of legislation that has come to be known as the red flag legislation. So thank you for your co-sponsorship. I'm grateful. And it speaks to the importance that the Rhode Island Senate thinks of this particular piece of legislation. Let me just introduce to the right of me Luke Intellis, who is a lawyer from every town, for whom I was happy to sponsor this bill. Madam Chair, I'm just going to take about 2 minutes of the committee's time. I'm just going to give a brief outline of what this red flag legislation does. And if you have any questions of myself or Luke for technical aspects of the legislation, we'll be happy to endeavor to explain. The purpose of this legislation is to create a new type of restraining order for a person who poses a danger to themselves or others with guns. Law enforcement and family members can seek a court order to temporarily prohibit the dangerous person from possessing firearms and requires the surrender of any firearm in their possession. This bill adds a new chapter to our state law, creating an extreme risk protection order. This bill establishes who can seek them and when the guidelines of the court will consider before they issue. The bill spells out how that will happen. If a family member or law enforcement officer believes a person possesses a significant danger to themselves or others and has access to firearms, they may file a petition in the Superior Court here in the state of Rhode Island requesting an extreme risk protection order. If a temporary order is granted, the court must schedule a hearing within 7 days of the issuance of a temporary extreme risk protection order in order to determine if a 1-year extreme risk protection order should in fact be issued. There is a process for the return of firearms after the order has been lifted, as well as a hearing for persons who wish to contest the order. A nationwide study of mass shootings from 2009 to 2016 revealed that in at least 42% of those incidents, there is documentation that the attacker exhibited dangerous warning signs before the shooting occurred. My hope is this bill will also help with suicide prevention. Nearly 2/3 of gun deaths in the United States are a result of suicide. It is reported that an estimated 72 or more suicides have been avoided in Connecticut following a 2000 study of their red flag law that has already been enacted. When those who recognize red flags are empowered or have a system to act upon, they can helpfully prevent future heartbreaks. I understand that there are some valid concerns, Madam Chair and members of the committee, with this legislation, but it is my hope that these issues can be considered and addressed quickly so that we can ensure passage of this very important legislation. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee, for your time.
Thank you, Madam Whip. And I do know that since this legislation has been put in, there has been significant discussion and significant work put in to it as well. I was just briefed as late as about 5 minutes ago about some of the things that have been brought up. So it's certainly something that will be continued to work on. Mr. Intellis?
I want you just to understand this will be a work in progress for the committee's edification and for members of the public that are here to testify.
Thank you, Madam Whip.